Let's talk 1982's Tron. Hacking in Tron. Now, Tron was always a childhood favorite for me. I watched it multiple times growing up. I always loved the incredible visuals, the graphics, the light cycle scene, and the tanks in Tron. A really underappreciated movie for its time. It's kind of grown into a cult classic. Tron, available on Disney Plus. I went back and watched a bit of it recently, and what struck me was how, for an early 80s movie, it really does a good job showing hacking. When it was released in 1982, computer security was basically an afterthought, if it was thought of at all. Computer security was only taken seriously at the federal government level because in 83, War Games was viewed at the White House by President Reagan, and he started asking questions within his cabinet. I'll cover that in a later video, but at the time, generally was ignored, thought of as more costly than a potential hack, so it wasn't addressed at all. In Tron, we see a computer program, Flynn, played by the always great Jeff Daniels. He had his game stolen by the CEO of this large corporation, and he was kicked out. Flynn's ex-girlfriend and another co-worker are disgruntled with what is going on at the company, and they go to Flynn, intending to bring him in the company to allow him to find proof that his program was stolen. Now, this is exceptionally common in breaches in computer security. Often it's an insider giving information or access to the hacker on the outside that allows them to hack into the system. When we see them bringing Flynn into the company to hack into the mainframe, we see them having to bypass a keypad in order to gain access to the building. Once again, it shows some lock picking. Picking a lock to break into a company is interesting because recently, if you go to any security convention, you will see a lock picking booth available. They have these, one, because they're fun, but also if you're going to do a penetration test into a company to see how secure it is, you want to see, can an outsider gain physical access to the building, which this seems very sophisticated for an 80s movie on computer hacking. Now, after gaining access to the building and given access to a terminal to log into the mainframe, we see Finn trying to hack in with actual... So we see the two insiders bringing Finn in through the company, kind of getting past the physical security, going by guards, trying to hide his identity. He eventually is given access to a terminal where he attempts to find the files. Now, at the time, and really even later into the 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s, computer security assumed that if you had access to the physical components, you are authorized and allowed to be there. One of the things I love about this scene is that he's putting actual commands into the computer, trying to find the files, find the information. Too many times in movies, even recent movies, when someone's trying to hack into a computer, you see him hand jamming the keyboard like a madman, like Jerry Lee Lewis playing Great Balls of Fire. It's not accurate at all. If you're truly trying to hack into a system, you're going to target specific vulnerabilities you can find. You're going to have software that will find vulnerabilities. You're going to maybe even get some of that insider information to log into the system and then go from there. A lot of the early 80s movies, even the later ones, comedies and family movies like Tron, which is definitely a family movie at PG made by Disney, you see someone trying to hack in, guess the password, fail, fail, fail. And then someone slaps the monitor and voila, it works, which is absolutely ridiculous. Slapping a computer monitor to hack into the system's like slapping your TV to get the VCR unjammed. It doesn't work. There's no logical reasons why it should work. It's just a quick explanation for them to be able to say, okay, we were able to get in. Another interesting thing, the thing that really drew my attention to Tron and why I'm talking about it today, is how the operating system, the MCR, how the OS responds to this attempted hack. And this is what I really love about the movie. It downloads Finn into the computer, digitizes them, brings them down. How awesome would it be if the next time someone tried to put ransomware on your computer, your PC would download them to the computer and you can just grab them and punch them in the face? That would be awesome. I would love for that to be a real antivirus thing. Also, while we're talking about this antivirus, I want a feature request to get telemarketers downloaded and stopped as well. There's no reason why I should get a call every day trying to help me get rid of my timeshare when I've never owned a timeshare. I definitely want this antivirus MCR on my phone today. Now, one of the crazy things about this security reflex of the operating system is not only does it download the hacker onto its system so that it can deal with them on its own, where it's got power and strength, but then it decides to play with them like a cat and mouse, pitting programs against each other in a gladiatorial arena for its own entertainment. I gotta say, could we have a death match between spammers and ransomware people? Because that would be great. Let's sort things out that way. Of course, I'm kidding. That would be horrible. And yes, I still want it. One of the other interesting things we see in Tron that's really shows a lot of forethought into the writers of this film is that inside this OS world of the MCR, we see there's different security roles. There's different jobs. So it's like each different program or function in there, they have their own uniforms. They're doing their own thing, much like a computer program will run today. You got object-oriented programming that does this one job, and it's set aside from other programs. In Tron, we see they have different uniforms. They look different. They behave different. I love that you see security forces constantly patrolling, scanning the system, looking for malware, looking for things that shouldn't be there. That is very real world. So, what do you think about Tron? Do you want a computer that can download hackers to deal with them on its own terms? Comment below. Subscribe if you like this video. Like it. Come back for more Are You Bacon?